Yes. What do you mean by open source? So open source in the sense like, see, as I was telling you, Python is also, yes, ma. Anyone, were you saying something?
No, ma'am. Continue, ma'am.
Okay. So yes, I was telling you, see, Python is a programming language. They have used some sort of programming language code to create Python. So open source means that code is also available for us. So what we can do is we can actually take that code. If we are good enough, we can make some changes to it and release our own Python version also, which is very well possible. So that is why we call this as open source. And for your information, Python was developed using the C programming language. So understand this. So for developing the Python programming, they used the C programming as the coding. Right. So what it is open source means the entire Python language code is available for us. So we can actually use that code. We can make some changes to it. So we can create our own Python version also if required. So that is what you mean by the word open source. Right. So this is again that point. Right. Now next one is support for GUI. So now here, what do you mean by GUI? GUI means graphical user interface. Now again, what is so special about this? What do you mean by GUI? Why is it so important? Or why is that given as a key feature? See, any application, any software that you're going to develop, okay, if everything is in form of text, how boring it will be. But instead of that, if it is having some image, if it is having some buttons, if it is having a text box, some drop down list. See, for example, let us say, have you all, any one of you booked any tickets, movie ticket, bus ticket, train ticket? How the form is? They display one form, they will say enter name, then they
Yes, ma'am.
one box. So age, they will give you one thing. Date of birth, they will give you the calendar. So like that, developing an application like that is what you call as GUI. And GUI is very, very popular because it is user friendly. So in Python, we have different modules are there. So predefined modules are there, which is called as TK. TK is for Kinter. We call that as Kinter. Then we have WH Python. Then we have PQ, PYQT. In PYQT itself, we have different versions available. So all these are modules, predefined modules that are available with my Python. So using this, I can create GUI application also. That is, I can create a form, I can create a text box, I can create a button, I can create a label. So like this, I can create my own applications. That is what you call by GUI. And with Python, I can also use this. Right. Now, another key point we call is general purpose. So general, normal English term, right? So Python can be,
Ma'am.
yes, ma. Yes, Ratel, any doubt?
Ma'am, your voice is not audible, ma'am. Barely audible.
For everyone, it is like that.
No, ma'am. எனக்கு கேக்குது ma'am. கான்ஸ்டல் நெட் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோவா இருக்கும் ma'am. Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Maybe because of a net issue, da. I don't know, because if others, what about others? Kavya,
எனக்கு நல்லா கேக்குது.
கேக்குதா?
கேக்குது ma'am.
So that is the reason why I suggested the recording also. You know, in case if you're facing any problem, you can actually go through the recording also once.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. So yes, next I was telling you about the term general purpose. So general, as the name suggests, I can use this Python programming language for developing various types of applications. Okay, see, now when you are talking about a company, the company will be developing some desktop applications. First thing you should know, what is a desktop application? So desktop application means applications created for a particular system. For one particular system, if you are going to create an application, then that application is what we call as a desktop application. Okay, for example, you guys are familiar with antivirus, Norton, Kaspersky, so many different antiviruses are there. So why we use antivirus? To protect our system. Antivirus is available for mobiles also, antivirus is available for the systems also. So how will you do that? You will buy the antivirus, they will give you one license. That license is applicable only for one particular system. So each and every system will have a separate antivirus installed with one separate license key. Same way, I'm talking about this Microsoft Word. This I'm using it, right? So Microsoft Word is another application which needs to be installed separately for each and every system. My laptop, I have to install separately. For your laptop, you have to download the software. You have to install that separately. So that kind of applications is what we call as desktop applications. Applications meant for one particular system. Then we have a web application. Web application means application which is running over the internet. For example, any banking application. You want to use internet banking. What will you do? We'll go to Google Chrome or Mozilla something. We will type the address. We will log in with our user ID password. Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. How you do all those things? All those are what we call as web applications. And now, in the present trend, market trend, data science, big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT, so many different things are there, and Python can be used to create any of these type of applications. So whether I want to create desktop, yes, I can use Python. I want to use web, yes, I can use Python for that also. I want to use data science, yes, Python available for that. ML, yes, Python available. AI, Python available. So that is why we call the term as general purpose. So it can be used to build any type of applications. That is what you mean by this particular feature, right? The next feature is high level programming language. So again, what do you mean by high level programming? So high level programming here means two things. One is it is programmer friendly language. It is easy for a programmer to learn and write the code. First point. Second point is you have a lot of predefined functions available. Everything you don't have to write code. There are a lot of predefined functions are also available for it. So any high level programming language, you have a lot of supporting tools are there. So that is what we term the Python in the high level programming language category. One is because it is user friendly. Second one is it is having lot of predefined tools for me. So I can make use of all those predefined tools and I can create my application. Right. Next point is interpreted. So interpreted. So for understanding the word interpreted, you have to know about two things. Okay, what is that is, whenever we create a program, how the program is going to get executed is very important. Okay, there are two ways of executing a program. One is using a compiler, other one is using an interpreter. So these are the two ways by which we normally execute a particular program. So programming languages like C, C++ and all make use of compilers. Programming language like Python, JavaScript, they make use of the interpreter. Now, what is the difference between these two? Okay, that is another point what you have to know. What is the difference between using an interpreter and using a compiler? Right. So compiler, what it is going to do is, when you write a program, say for example, the program is having some 10 lines. Okay, you have written some 10 lines of code. Okay, so what is the program going to do? What is the compiler going to do is, it will check the whole program. It will go entire program, and then in case if you have made any mistakes, your compiler will give you the list of mistakes you have done, list of errors that you have done in the program. Then you will be asked to correct that error. So once you have corrected all the errors only, your program will actually run and your output will be produced. That is how your compiler will be working. So understand this very clearly. Whenever I write a program, first when I am using a compiler, how it is going to happen? First, it will scan my entire program. So all the 10 lines will be checked, and then what are all the mistakes that is there in the program, it will give me the list of mistakes. Say in line 1 you have done this, in line 5 you have done this. So like that, it will give me the consolidated list of all the errors within my program. In case if my program does not have any error, then it is going to produce the output. That is how my compiler will be working. Now when I talk about my interpreter, okay, so when I talk about my interpreter, how it is going to do is, it will check line by line. First, it will go for the first line. First line, no error, right? It will get the output of that first line. Then go for the second line. Second line also no error. It will produce the output for the second line. Then third line, then fourth line, so on. Whichever line is getting an error, it will stop with that line itself. Further, it will not execute. So, for example, if I have made a mistake in the fifth line, then from 1 to 4, all the 4 lines will get executed. Then when the mistake is there in the fifth line, there it will throw me the error. So I will be able to see some output also. At the same time, I will be seeing some mistakes also. So this is how my program will be working in an interpreter. That is the difference between a compiler and an interpreter. I will show you a program on this, so don't worry about it. Right, so Python is a language which uses the interpreter. It does not use a compiler, it uses an interpreter. Right, another very important point with regards to Python is a platform independent language. Now, what do you mean by platform? The first word itself, I have a doubt. What is a platform? Always remember, platform means operating system. OS. OS is what we call as platform. For example, my laptop is running on Windows. Your laptop also may run on Windows, or you may have an Apple. You may have an Apple laptop, Mac. So that is what we call as a Mac. Or you may be using Linux. Linux is also an operating system, which is very secured operating system. So maybe some people like Linux, maybe some people like use Unix. So like that, there are different operating systems present. And this operating system is what we call as platform. So now when I say Python is platform independent, so what do you mean by that is, you create a Python program, it can run and give you the output, same output without any changes in any of the platform. For example, I have written a Python code in my system. I am sharing you that. Okay, I'm going to share you that file, and yours is a Linux. So you don't have to worry about making any changes. You can directly run the program as it is. It will produce the same output as it has produced in my system. So that is what you mean by platform independent. We commonly call this term as WORA, W-O-R-A. That is, write once, run anywhere. You write the code only once, you can run the program anywhere, in any of the systems you can run it. So that is one very big advantage with my Python, that it is platform independent. Okay, now another word what I will be using is a term which is called as portability. So what do you mean by portability? That is, I can transfer this from one platform to another with no changes at all. Okay, so that is why we call this as portability. Okay, so as I said, platform independency and portability are two very, very important features of a Python programming language. Right. Now, again, one more small thing what you have to know is with Python, we have two approaches we can follow for a program. We can follow POP, we can follow OOPS. Both are allowed in the programming language. So this again is very, very important. You can use procedural oriented programming, that is without using any classes, without using any objects. You can create a program and you can execute the application. Yes, that is also allowed in Python. Python can also create applications using classes, objects, inheritance, all those OOPS concepts, object oriented programming concepts. So both the methodologies are accepted by Python. There is only one another programming language which allows both, that is your C++. So you can create a C++ program with POP also, with OOPS also. Same way, other than C++, Python is a language which allows you to create program using any of the methodology. So here, first part of the Python training, we will be seeing about procedural programming. The second part of the Python training, we will be seeing about the object-oriented programming. Right. And one of the last few points is Python is dynamically typed programming language. And guys, this again is very, very important. Why? Because Python, we call it as a type infer programming language. You may ask, ma'am, what do you mean by this type infer? See, normally in a programming language like C or Java or C++, when we want to create a variable, okay, how will you do it? We will say int a is equal to, float b is equal to, double d is equal to, like that. We will mention the data type, then we will give the variable name. So all your programming languages, we use like that only. But in Python, no need of data type. We can directly say a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, sum is equal to a plus b. That's it. No need to say int a is equal to, float b is equal to, no. Data types are not required. So that is why we call Python as a dynamically typed language. So that is another big advantage of Python. So now you may ask, ma'am, if we don't mention the data type, then what is going to be the data type? That is whatever value you are going to give for this variable. Suppose I am saying a is equal to 10, then a is be taken as an integer. Suppose if I am saying a is equal to 10.24, then a will be taken as a float. Same way, if I'm saying a is equal to Sairam, then a is taken as a string. So based on whatever is the value I am going to give for that variable. So based on the value, the data type is automatically decided by my interpreter. So I don't have to specify the data type. The data type is automatically going to be taken by my interpreter itself. So that is why we call Python as a dynamically typed language. Right. So, and again, two more very important features is it is extensible. Now, what do you mean by extensible? This again is very, very important because first thing you should know is whenever you are going to develop a project, whenever you're going to develop an application, always remember it is not possible for us to do everything using one single programming language itself. No, it is not possible. We will be making use of multiple programming languages. So one programming language should coincide, should be suitable, which should be compatible with the other one. There comes that issue. That is what you are going to say by extensible. That is, when I am going to create my Python application, I can put inside this Python code, I can put a C code also, I can put a Java code also. Everything is going to be allowed. So that is what you mean by extensible. That is adding code of some other programming language into your Python. This is what you call as extensible, and this is actually allowed with my Python. That is another big advantage of this language. See, I will tell you where the necessary is. Suppose you're creating a project. Okay, in that project, one part of the project has already been created using C language or using Java. Why I should waste my time in writing the same code again in Python? Why not I just reuse that code? That is what your extensible is going to help me. My entire project is there. In that, some part of that program is already available for me in some other programming language. I can take that code and I can put it inside my Python code also. So there are ways of doing this. Python accepts such things. Same way, embedded. So now embedded is nothing but the opposite of extensible. That is, in any other programming language, you can insert the Python code. For example, I am developing a Java application. Inside the Java application, I want some small part of the project to be in Python. Then I have available for that. I can use that. We call that as JPython. Jython, to be more precise, we call that as Jython. That is Java combined with Python. Say, for example, I am creating a .NET application. .NET is a Microsoft product. So I am creating a .NET application where I want some part of my project code to be written in Python. So now why I want this? Because Python is very easy to write programs. So I have some very difficult part is there. So I want to write it easily. So I'm going to write it in Python and mix it with this particular language.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you please again explain about embedded?
Yes. See, guys, I am going to develop an application in Java. Okay, this is my task. My company is going to develop a website or create a website in Java. Okay, for that website, let me say, for example, if you have seen any websites where let me say, like we have a payment integration is there. That is okay. We'll take Amazon. Amazon, you buy things, right? We place an order, we buy things. There, you have the option of putting cash on delivery, or you can also make a payment over there. Suppose I want this payment process. So writing the code for this payment process in Java is very difficult, but in Python it is very easy. So what I will do, my entire application, my Amazon application, I'm going to create it in Java, but only the payment part of the code. Okay, how to collect the payment from the customer. That part of my code, I'm going to write the program in Python. So what is the main application is in Java, but I am inserting the Python code inside my Java. That is what you mean by embedded. So first thing, see the difference between extensible and embedded. Extensible means my core application will be in Python. Other language will be inserted into my Python. But here,
Ma'am,
yes, ma'am.
what is the difference between extensible and embedded, ma'am?
Oh, that is what I'm saying. Sorry, just 1 second. Yes, guys. So understand one thing. What do you mean by extensible is I am creating a Python program. Okay, inside the Python program, okay, I want to write some few lines of code will be in C language, or I want few lines of code to be in Java. Say for example, my Python program has 1,000 lines of code. Out of that 1,000 lines of code, I want some say 100 lines to be written in C language. So that is what you call as extensible. Other languages getting inserted into Python. You understand? Application is in Python. Other languages can be inserted into my Python code. That is what you mean by extensible. Embedded means you are going to insert Python code into some other language. You get it? I am going to write a code in Python, in Java. Inside the Java code, I am going to add few lines of my Python code. That is what you mean by embedded. Am I clear? You guys still have any doubt? Please tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Cleared, ma'am.
What about others? So again, I'm repeating, guys. Extensible means your Python code is there. Inside the Python code, I am going to add some other language code. Maybe C, maybe Java, maybe .NET, anything. Okay, so inside Python, some other language. That is what is extensible. Embedded means some other language is there. Inside that some other language, I am going to put Python inside. So that is what you mean by embedded. Suppose you are mixing Java with Python. Inside Java, you are adding Python means we call that as Jython. That language, we call it as Jython. Same way, I have .NET. Inside .NET, I am inserting Python. Then we call that as IronPython. That is, inside .NET, I am going to add my Python code. Same way, you are familiar with the big data technology. Big data is another very, very important field in the industry. So inside big data, if I am going to put my Python, we call that as Anaconda Python. So same way, there is another programming language called Ruby. So inside Ruby, I have written the program in Ruby, but inside that, I am adding few lines of my Python code. We call that as Ruby Python. So like this, in main language will be something else. Inside that main language, I am going to add my Python code for something. Then that is what you call as embedded. Right. And the last point, which is very important, is library. See, since I said it is a high level programming language, what is the advantage of that is there are lot of predefined functions available for me. I don't have to write the code for each and everything. It is already lot of functions are there for me. That is what you call as extensible library. So Python has a rich library support. It has lots and lots of libraries. It has predefined functions for data science, for machine learning, for data analytics, for everything. They have a predefined functions available. So these are some of the popular, popular libraries you might have heard about. We had heard about NumPy. It is all these are like core libraries for mathematical things. We have SciPy, we have Pandas, and then we have Matplot, Cpon. Like this, we have lot of predefined libraries available for us. So here we will be making use of libraries. So what exactly is a library? Understand that library is nothing but a file. Inside that file, lot of functions will be available. Lot of predefined functions will be available. So those functions I can make use of in my program. So that is what you mean by this predefined libraries. Right. So these are all the key features of a Python programming language. So what is all the things I should know? Because of all these key features only, every company is actually looking for Python because they get all this advantage. So if I want to write an application in Python, so if necessary, I can add some other language code also into it. It is platform independent. I don't have to target any one system. I can run the program in all the systems. So no problem is going to be there. And it's very simple. It's very easy to learn. I don't have to pay anything for the license. It is actually a freeware for me. So all these features together make Python very, very popular. Right. Guys, any doubt in the topics what we just saw now?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop with this for today. Okay, tomorrow I will tell you what are the limitations. See, any programming language, we have some advantage means definitely we'll be having some disadvantages also. So first thing tomorrow's class, what we are going to do is we will see what are the disadvantages and then we will start our programming. How to write our programs in Python. So that is the plan for tomorrow's session. Okay, so in between, Any doubts or anything you have, please text me in the WhatsApp group or text me individually. No problem, guys. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock is okay, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Sorry, minus on that. I mean, sorry, what is it?
Ma'am, இப்போ இந்த recording நீங்க எப்போ அனுப்புவீங்க மேம்?
எதுடா?
இல்ல இப்ப நீங்க ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணது நீங்க பர்சனல் வாட்ஸ்அப்ல அனுப்புறீங்களா இல்ல யூடியூப் லிங்க்ல
இல்ல
அனுப்புறீங்களா
இல்ல
மேம்?
நான் உனக்கு யூடியூப் லிங்க்ல அனுப்பிச்சு விடுறேன்டா.
ஓகே
I will send it. எனக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப்ல இது வந்து உனக்கு 40 minutes அந்த மாதிரி ரெக்கார்டிங் போறது இல்ல. உனக்கு it does அவ்ளோ சப்போர்ட் பண்ணாது வாட்ஸ்அப்ல நான் அனுப்பிச்சேன்னா. ரெக்கார்டிங் சைஸ் இருக்கு இல்லையா உனக்கு அனுப்புறதுக்கு. So அதனால it doesn't support that much. I cannot put it. So one thing is I will put it in the Google Drive and share you the link. Otherwise I will upload it in YouTube and I'll share you the link. Anyone. Okay, I will do any one of it. I will do it by today night and I will share you the link, ma.
ஓகே மேம்.
Okay, guys. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you மேம்.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, da.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, da.